Residents of Opelousas could pay more for services as the city struggles to close a projected $2 million budget deficit. While the rain has been refreshing for us, it's caused a buildup of algae here at the Cypress Lake. And this layer of algae is so thick that it's actually cutting off the oxygen for the fish. An expected $2,000 budget shortfall. More layoffs are possible. Police are still investigating who placed the call about the bomb threat here at Albertsons. Meanwhile, officials warn all the pranksters out there that calls like this can get you jail time. Deputies say that all of those crimes could be avoided with one simple action: lock the doors. Uma investigação da Transocean culpa a British Petroleum pelo vazamento de petróleo há mais de um ano, que causou um dos maiores desastres ecológicos da história dos Estados Unidos. Here at UL, there are a lot of international students, including one from Norway. Even though the injuries are serious, doctors say the children are in stable condition. KTC's Mike Magnoli has details on this potentially dangerous ditch. A new billboard in Lafayette is raising a few eyebrows. It shows the mugshot of a newspaper publisher. Just last year, the game industry made about $20 billion. It is a huge market, and game companies try to reach all types of audiences. We're talking about Landry's Seafood in Jeanerette. Several fire departments were on the scene working to extinguish the fire for several hours, finishing up at around 6:30 this morning. O clima está pouquinho maluco, mas a nossa meteorologista Natalie Noah traz informações sobre o que esperar nos próximos dias. Natalie. And not too long ago, the police just went in Albertsons to see if there's any explosives inside the store. So now we're going to talk about the weather. Natalie, what does the weather look like for this coming week? KTC's Herbie Smith found out what happened. Join us again tonight for Karena's news channel at 10 o'clock. In Lafayette, this is Cris Matochi for KATC TV3. Outras informações no Jornal das 10. Uma boa tarde para você e até amanhã. Technology has made video games like this look almost real. So real it raises a question. Should violent video games be available to children?
It depends on who raises them. It entirely depends on how the parents have raised the kids. What kind of game they will allow their kid to play. You know, and I mean, they could be good parents all across the board, but it all comes to how they're raised.
From the most innocent to the most violent, video games can reach a broad public.
It has such a wide range. I mean, you can get anything from like Hannah Montana all the way up to Mortal Kombat.
The U.S. Supreme Court decided that putting restrictions on selling or renting video games to children violates their First Amendment. Just last year, the game industry made about $20 billion. It is a huge market, and game companies try to reach all types of audiences. Since there are no restrictions, violent games like this can be available to all ages, including children. Good for the game stores that no longer have to fear a decrease in sales.
Been a difference of about 10–15% in actual sales. That's a huge amount.
Ratings are always helpful to know how violent the games are. Now, whether the danger is reality or fantasy, U.S. Supreme Court says parents are the ones who decide. In Lafayette, Cris Matochi for KATC TV3. It was big, it was scary, it was powerful. The explosion at Multicam left a scar at the heart of New Iberia. Now the situation is under control, but the fallout is just beginning.
We've been contacted by clients that have experienced a multi-layer of problems, including some serious respiratory problems and/or property damage or contamination problems.
Less than a week after the explosion, two business owners filed class action lawsuits against Multicam. The lawsuits claim financial and health damages.
The business owners were affected because of the forced evacuation and the fact that they had to immediately leave the premises. And so in that sense, there was a specific business interruption.
While Multicam is still investigating what caused the explosion, the claim center is receiving several help requests.
Multicam is doing everything we can in the response, in the cleanup, in the claims department, having our insurance carrier address any and all claims, but they are processing claims as quickly as they can. We want to help out whoever we need to help out as quickly as we possibly can.
And if I was dressing like this in a big city like New York or even Lafayette, people can think I'm crazy. But here in Ville Platte, reflective gear is a serious thing. Since the curfew law was passed not long ago, it requires residents to wear reflective gear after 10 p.m. if they're found outside on the streets. Now, a group of residents are not happy with the idea, and they say the curfew law, it's not the only problem.
You are out of order, period.
The Ville Platte City Council meeting was interrupted Tuesday evening. A group of residents stormed into the meeting holding signs, protesting what they call police abuse.
In our home, had a police officer grab her by the throat and threw her to the ground. He had an 11-year-old boy they put a gun to and put handcuffs on.
You know, they told me to get on the ground, and they handcuffed me and put a gun to my head.
And he caught my wrist and twisted it, pushed me to the chair, and caught my throat.
The 10 o'clock curfew is in place since at least February, and many residents claim officers are targeting and harassing blacks.
All of it is based on race.
A cop came and told my yard in my front yard, called me a nigger.
They don't care about black people.
Ville Platte Police Chief Neil Lartigue says no one is being targeted.
We have African Americans in our departments. It's mixed. We're not just targeting. No one is being targeted.
According to Lartigue, the accusations have only the intention of stopping the police from fighting crime.
We have no intention of letting a few people come in here and back us off of our jobs.
The protests continued throughout the council meeting.
If you choose to enforce this, I will have you removed.
And that's what happened. 45 minutes after the session started, Arthur Sampson, director of the Evangeline Parish NAACP, was arrested for disturbing the peace.
I just know that Mr. Sampson was not on the agenda and he was out of order and continually disturbed the meeting. Therefore, that's why he was ordered to leave.
After the arrest of Simpson, black residents gathered outside of the city hall to resume the protests, saying all they wanted was to be heard.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chief, for arrest. But you won't stop Arthur Sampson.
And the protest was over not long after the meeting was done. City officials say the curfew law, however, will stay in effect. And if you're caught outside without wearing a reflective gear after 10 p.m., you can be fined of over $200. In Ville Platte, this is Cris Matochi for KATC TV3.